By the way, I'm not suggesting you should put your players in a complete position during the entire training camp where nothing's positive. I'm not saying that. Leave that shit to me. I get it. You want to have positive reinforcement constantly with your players. I'm totally cool with that. But coach them correctly. Coach these guys right, man. Wouldn't you rather put Jalen Hurts in a position like this? Okay, you've thrown 3 picks in a game. And you're down 14. And it's a quarter and a half left. Are you going to run the ball? Hour 2, National Football Show. This is where you get all your practice stat numbers. This is where you get the latest. This is where you get the running total on Jalen Hurts. This is where media guys give out their grades for practice, as Allen Iverson would say. Hit the like button, yeah. So let's take a look at what happened in Berea, Ohio, with Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Jalen Hurts training camp. Day 13. 1 versus the Browns. 16 of 21. No TDs, no picks. That's actually what hey, all kidding aside, that's kind of what I would love to see during the regular season, right around that number, 16 to 21. Okay? Like that. And you're running the ball? Okay. You know, I look at that. Okay. That's kind of who they are. So I really can't be facetious on this. Really good day for him. The passing offense looked best it has all camp. Wait, I got to get the grade down here, though. I'd give him an A-. I guess the A- is because he didn't have any TDs. Oh, that is just because no TDs. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. Signed Bill Walsh. Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Oh, my God. Hey, here's Michael Sills. Hurts just broke all practice records of all time. Unbelievable. By the way, Sills, the Vikings played the Eagles in Philly the very next year, and on an incomplete pass to the Eagles sideline, Buddy went over and met Chris after the play, hugged and shook him. Hey, Andrew, by the way, he loved Chris Carter. He loved Chris Carter. He didn't want to cut him, but he was doing it for his own health. Chris was a mess. Everyone in the league knew it because all of a sudden you saw Chris Carter was cut by the Eagles. Everyone freaked out. Everyone went, okay, what happened? Something happened. And Jerome told me, he goes, man, too many 8-balls. I'm like, what? I didn't know. He goes, yeah, too many 8-balls, man. This guy's showing up stoned. This guy's showing up high as a kite on coke. Yeah. I was like, and Buddy said, that's it. You're out. Hurts signs for $50 million, 75% completion percentage. Holy shit, are we looking at the next Patrick Mahomes here? What is wrong with being balanced? No, Brian, that's what they have to be. I'm not goofing on it, honestly. They weren't last year at all. Hurts the ultimate underdog. Yes, he is. Well, when you lose your gig and you have to go to another place, okay? Yeah, you are an underdog. And he was never drafted in Philadelphia to take Carson Wentz's job, ever. He was a seatbelt or a safety belt, whatever you want to call it, in case there was a big crash with Wentz, which there was. He was never signed to take his gig. Remember something. When they initially signed and drafted Jalen Hurts, they weren't doing that because they wanted to get rid of Wentz. They just gave him a brand new contract. That escalator hadn't even kicked in yet. Jeff Bone, how you doing, bro? Hurts wouldn't get a contract from me till midway next year. I need to see him be more consistent. So you don't want to make – why not give him a contract now? By the way, why not give him the contract? Shit, Xander wants to give him $40 million per. $40 million, baby. Give him to him now. Why not? It's going to be a controversy. It's going to be – he might be good enough. I have to see it. Brian, I think he's going to be good enough. I do. I think, and again, this is one of the question marks that I asked. Hey, this is one of the questions that I asked out of the gate. How much do you think he's improved from last year? 10%, 20%, 30%? I think 10% is enough. That's why I think they're going to go to the NFC title game. I think he's improved enough. I think in 8 months, if you got a 10% improvement in game situations and not controlled scrimmages or the Jets, I think you got a lot. 10% increase, you're talking about 3,700 yards, 3,500 yards, somewhere in there. Touchdowns around 23, right? 22. Right? Somewhere around. Dude, if you get 10% increases in his ability for the next 2-3 years, and he's 30% better in 3 years from now than what he is now, he will be a $40 million a year guy. Have some patience here. Have some patience. They've got time. They don't have to jump the barrel on this. Sit back and relax. Let's see this thing play out. I want to see. Look, I think the increase is going to be between 5 and 10%. I don't think this guy's some 20, 30% improvement like many of you think. I do not. That's unbelievably rare to see something like that, where you see a guy who was kind of okay a year ago. Let's be candid. Jalen Hurts was kind of average a year ago. He was average. I don't know. It was average. I wouldn't know, maybe not even average. Okay? Xander goes, this guy, man, this guy's got growth like JAKIB, baby. 100%. Full pedal down, man. That's what we are here. So I wonder what Xander thinks of him as. Is he an Alabama Crimson Tide guy, or is he a Sooner? I think he's a Sooner. Be honest, what's the ceiling? Player comparison, Brandon asked me. Big Sills, he will get $40 million if we win the Super Bowl. Probably. Yeah. You win the Super Bowl with that dude? You'd be like Joe Flacco. Excuse me, Joe Flacco. Congratulations to you, Joe, by the way, on making it to the Hall of Fame, or at least to the semifinalist list. Yeah, he will. He'll get that bag of money, man. He will. Guess we're drafting a safety. All right, let me get over to Sirianni. You see, I want to read you something before I read Sirianni's comments today, or yesterday it was. This is Kyle Shanahan. This is Kyle Shanahan's assessment so far of Trey Lance in camp. Do we not agree these guys are probably on the same career paths, at least as of right now, August 18th? Would we not agree? Both these guys, right? Fair? Trey Lance got a lot of pressure on him. By the way, here's the difference, though. Trey Lance just can't get to a Super Bowl. You got to win it. Jimmy G already did that. Jimmy G's been to 2 of the last 3 NFC championship games. He just can't make the playoffs. Or Trey Lance, that's not going to be good enough. Plus, you moved up and moved 3 number ones to the Dolphins to get in the 2-hole to get the guy. That guy just can't be a playoff guy like Jalen can be. This guy's got to get to the Super Bowl and win it. Garoppolo already did it. He didn't win it. He got it there. I'm being told he's the guy now. Okay? Here's what Kyle Shanahan says about Trey Lance. He's much better in a lot of areas than he was a year ago, and he's improved in all of these areas, and it's great to see. It's like a lawyer's answer. Well, how much better? How much? Jordan Love's better. How much better? You know what's funny? Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan won't tell you how much of an improvement he has from a year ago to where he is now. Because you know why? They can't tell you that. Nobody with any kind of football brain cells could tell you that Jalen's better than a year ago, or Trey Lance is better than a year ago, or for that matter, Justin Fields. You have no idea until they get out there and play in September. Watch this. Well, he's doing great with everything in practice and fundamentals. That's what practice is for. Practice is for practicing fundamentals. You're practicing your techniques, hoping they'll stick. Hoping they stick. But what usually happens to players once they get in a position where they've got to succeed? They resort back to their strengths. You see, this is where, in all seriousness now, this is where Jalen has to get better. And I'll tell you the number one thing that it looks like he has gotten better at. The first sign of a play breaking down, he can't take off. I don't want to hear Sirianni saying, well, he's not open. That's on the quarterback to get him open. Get that guy open. You know, just like you guys told me about Carson Wentz, rely on the other 10 guys in the huddle, you know? There's 10 other dudes in the huddle. It's not just you. There's no hero ball here. Get him open. That's on the quarterback. His first sign when plays break down, the Eagles, and Shane Steichen even said this the other day, politically he said it. He's got to have better, and I'm paraphrasing it, and I'm using, these are my words, not his. He's got to have better pocket presence if he wants to improve like you guys want him to improve. That's why I say I want to see all this improvement when plays break down. There's no plays breaking down with Paulie Shore giving me those stats in controlled scrimmages or against the Jets. There's no plays breaking down. He's not put in an adversarial position where he's got to dig his team out of a hole. He has had none of that in training camp. Everything has been positive. Reinforcement. Putting him in positions in scrimmages. All the reporting. Quarterbacking in the National Football League is not about perfect scenarios and perfect environments. It's about when you're down 14 with one timeout left and you got to win a freaking game in Dallas to win the NFC East. That's when it matters. Not when, hey, he's 6 for 6 or what is it, 16 to 21 or whatever, 16 to 21, and I give him an A. I want to see a guy who was struggling like Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. He loses Odell Beckham. You could see they were rattled. Stafford rallies the troops. And they win the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter against the Bengals. That's quarterbacking. When you're down and getting your ass handed to you, like Brady was against the Rams. They tie it up. They ended up getting beat because of Todd Bowles' defense, in my opinion. But Brady rallied them. That's quarterbacking to me. Is rallying your team when shit's not going well. All kidding aside here. Wouldn't you rather put your quarterback in a position a failure first to see how he reacts to it than putting him in a fight you know he can win. That's not development. You know, the great coaches put players in adversary. Belichick he made a career out of putting everybody in bad positions where they had to make decisions and situational play calling to try to get his team out of an area. How many times do game plans or fight plans or army plans, when you're talking about going to war, how many times do they go to shit right there in the first 3 minutes? Like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What are you doing when you get punched in the mouth? By the way, I'm not saying to you that Jalen doesn't have the character to get out of that. But teach him that. But he's 6 for 6 and he's 80 yards against the Jets. Gardner Minshew killed that team in a game that was real. Yeah, but you see the way Jalen played? He didn't play any better than Gardner Minshew did against the Jets last year. As a matter of fact, Gardner Minshew played better. You want to, hey, if you're really keeping score, if you want to do a beauty pageant, Minshew was better versus the Jets last year. He was 20 of 25, 250, 3 touchdowns. Sorry, you're going to have to do a hell of a lot more to go in 6 for 6 in a preseason game for 80 yards before you're going to go, hey, well, what about the guy with 20 of 25 against the same shit team? Come on, man. Give me a break. See, Brian, I think the coaching staff is the one that, to me, is the outlier here and the question mark. By the way, I'm not suggesting you should put your players in a complete position during the entire training camp where nothing's positive. I'm not saying that. Leave that shit to me. I get it. You want to have positive reinforcement constantly with your players. I'm totally cool with that. But coach them correctly. Coach these guys right, man. Wouldn't you rather put Jalen Hurts in a position like this? Okay, you've thrown 3 picks in a game, and you're down 14, and there's a quarter and a half left. Are you going to run the ball? What are the Eagles going to do coaching staff-wise? Are you going to throw the ball when you're down like that? Or are you going to run it? Do you really? Hey, you know what seems to me a little bit too here? Doesn't it seem to you that the coaches are trying to also motivate themselves to buy into his arm? It's almost like they're conditioning themselves too. Dude, I want to know how he acts. I have not seen one thing where someone said he had a shitty. And by the way, Derek Gunn said one word and everyone blew a gasket, including some of the players. Lighten up. Because I guarantee you, 2022, there's going to be moments where you're all going to go like this. Shit. Tom Brady has shit moments. Everyone does. You can't get your panties in a bind, or you can't get upset when someone goes, that sucked, kid. That's why they don't have Doug Peterson here anymore. Because Doug thinks like I do. You don't have Doug Peterson around because Doug told you the truth. And he talked to his players like that, probably. And then again, I know how Doug talks to people. Okay? Doug has that ability to look you in the face and go, that sucks, that's not cutting it. Okay? That's not cutting it, kid. You got to be better here. Media needs to be checked once in a while. Hey, Richie, it's okay because how many times, Richie, know this. The media in Philly is being fed by the Eagles what they want you to hear. That's what they're telling you. Oh, he's crazy great. Perfecto. Unbelievable. Remember, and you know what, all kidding aside, Elliot Shore, I'm sure he's a fine reporter, okay? He works for a radio station that airs the Eagles. Today, I have no credibility for people like that. He's not going to tell you anything negative. Organization would hammer him. Then his bosses at IP would hammer him. And I get it. Trust me. But I'm telling you the truth here. That's why when you come here and you go, Dan, you're shitting. No, I'm not shitting on anybody. Watch this. In all actuality, some of the negative stuff, or if you interpret it that way that I've said about Jalen, can easily turn around and go, Dan, he's worked hard. He looks in great shape. He's doing all the right things. You may not think much of those statistics, but at least it's accuracy you're seeing. 6 of 6, 16 to 21. Aren't you happy with that? Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. On all truth aside, yes, I am. That shows consistency. By the way, it's not so much. The next time you look, like when Xander posts those Elliott Shore stats, when he puts those stats up there, think about the one thing you should always be looking at with those stats. Is he consistently around 65% in practice? If he's around 65%, he'll probably be this year. Watch this. I'll make a prediction to you. I'll bet you if he's around 66, 65% in practice, he'll be around 63. That's an improvement off of 61 from last year. That's a 2% improvement. That's why when I ask you what you think this guy's improvement's going to be, 10%, 20%, look at what a 2 or 3% improvement will be in passing efficiency for him. You get it up to 63, 64, you're starting to climb and get better, and that's accuracy. You're starting to see a player getting more accurate. That's what you're looking at. Like I said, most quarterbacks probably hang like Mahomes in practice. They probably hang around 85%, knowing full well he'll be 68 or 67 during the season because it's real. You're getting hit. You've relied on other things. Game plan goes to shit in the second quarter. What are you doing? Let's run the ball. That's what the Eagles are going to do. When everything else fails, they'll run the ball, which is great because you know why? They're great at it. That is one of the super luxuries that this team has that very few teams in the league has. You know what that is? They're a power team. You want to get into, a sparring match with me? I'll throw some freaking haymakers at you here, and I got the ability to knock your ass out. Okay? But don't just spar with people, because when a team like the Eagles spar with people, what do you do when you think you're sparring with somebody you know you can knock out? You're keeping that idiot in the game. When I got a team like the Lions in week 1, man, I'm going to run right at your ass, and I want to see how tough you are. You and Dan Campbell up there, you guys want to call yourself a tough football team? Well, let me unleash a team that led the NFL in running. I don't want to see 35 passes in game 1. I want to see if the Lions are tough enough to handle what they couldn't last year. That was getting their ass handed to them. That guy, Dan Campbell, you know what he don't want to see the Eagles doing? He don't want to see the Eagles going up there running the ball 35 times in that game. He don't want that. But you know what the organization and everybody in Philly wants? They want the Eagles not do that and throw the ball 35 times. Why? Situational play calling. Know your opponent. Sun Tzu tells you. Know the weaknesses of your opponent. Know your own strengths and weaknesses. And if you have a superior opponent, draw back, adapt, reorganize. That's how the art of war is. That's the art of war, my friends. Okay? That's the art of war. Dan, if Hurts is somewhere between Cardell Stewart and Steve McNair, I'll take it. Yeah, man. That's some pretty good football players. Cordell's okay. McNair was a tough dude. If he can hang in that Steve McNair room and put the Steve McNair jacket on, and you got Steve McNair as your starting quarterback, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I like McNair. I'm a fan of Steve McNair. Okay? Lions game is zero cakewalk. Week 2, Vikings, easier opponent. Absolutely not. That guy up there, Justin Jefferson, will go for 183 versus that secondary in week 2. We'll hit on some of that there too. I do want to say something about an NFL player that's absolutely obnoxious. I want to also go back to something that we all said here a couple months ago about Deshaun Watson being an Eagle. I want to do that. By the way, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Guys, know this? If you are hurt or injured on the job, one of the most important things that you could possibly do for you and your family is finding that attorney firm that will take care of you and your needs. For the past 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has collected over $13.5 billion for their clients. That's right. For the people is not a slogan. This is who they are. Over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida make them the biggest firm in the country, and they will not be intimidated, and there is no such thing as a fender bender when you call Morgan & Morgan. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you call them, do me a favor. Tell them Dan Sileo sent you.
In choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.